I think our world right now is dividing into two different entities. There are the people who make the rules and enforce the rules, and there are those that are rebels and want to break all the rules. Which one are you? I'd love to hear from you in an email, or you can comment below. Because I think our world is dividing, and especially right now when we're trying to figure out the new rules of social distancing, of reopening businesses, of standing in line, when and where are you supposed to wear a mask? Man, there seems like there's a new order from our mayor or governor every single day, and we're trying to figure it out. In fact, if you're watching this, today in Denver is the first day that our mandatory mask order is going into effect. And we're trying to figure out, what does this mean? When and where do I wear a mask? Well, it says they're recommended when you're outdoors on a hike or a walk out in the park. But does that mean you have to do it? Already, I feel like I'm getting glared at by people, even though I'm staying really far away, way more than 6 feet away from people when I go on walks with my family. So which one are you? I'd love to hear. Are you the rule enforcer, or are you the rebel? I think we all are drawn to one or the other. But what happens when these new rules are being formed right now, and socially we're just trying to figure out what's okay, what's not. There can be judgmentalism, there can be anger, there can be lashing out, there can be people who are purposely being rebels, and other people that go over the top to enforce the rules. And really all of it has the same root cause. All of it comes back to the fear or the anxiety we're dealing with. Maybe it's the anxiety because you're afraid you're going to get sick from somebody else, and you're angry that they would spread the disease. Yeah, maybe I'd be okay, but who could I pass it to if I get COVID-19? Or maybe you're fearful because you're thinking, oh my gosh, what if the government steps in here and finds this person or gets them arrested? Or maybe it's the opposite end of the spectrum, and you're rebelling because you feel like your freedoms are being taken away from, and you don't like the confined rules that make you feel already claustrophobic because you're not supposed to drive more than 10 miles away from your house to recreate, and you just feel so confined in where you're living. And that can bring anxiety and produce a fear inside of yourself. Whatever it is, I want to encourage you, whichever side you're on, or if you're somewhere in between, I want to encourage you to be compassionate, not contentious in this time. We have enough people that are contentious and angry and making this all a political issue, but it's not. I mean, this is a public health issue, and it's figuring out new standards and rules and cultural norms. This is difficult and challenging for everyone. So I want to encourage you to be compassionate, not contentious in this time. And I even draw this from what Peter said in 1 Peter chapter 3, starting in verse 8. We'll read this together. It says, finally, all of you, be like-minded, be sympathetic, love one another, be compassionate and humble. Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing, because to this you are called, so that you may inherit a blessing. See, it's saying even if the other person is doing something evil, whether it's creating an evil rule or breaking a rule and doing evil, whatever your perspective is, the other people you feel like are doing something wrong and they are infringing on you or hurting you. But what Peter's saying is, it doesn't matter if that's how you feel. You're not supposed to be contentious. You're supposed to be compassionate. You're supposed to show empathy. Try to sympathize with the person. Why is it that they're feeling so angry right now? And instead of lashing out or getting angry or fighting for my rights or fighting so that you're going to keep the rules, calling the cops on this person for not wearing a face mask out in public or having too many people gathering in their house, instead of doing any of those, let's be compassionate. Think, why is the person dealing with this? And how could I show them love? How could I help them? How could I encourage them if that's what they need? How could I show them the love of Christ? Jesus taught us to do this as well. He said, if someone curses you, you bless them. If they hate you, you love them. If they're your enemy, you love them anyways. You pray for those who persecute you. And Jesus did this up till the very end when he was hanging on the cross, killed by the people he came to save. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Peter continues quoting from the Psalms. In verse 10, he says, for whoever would love life and see good days must keep their tongue from evil and their lips from deceitful speech. They must turn from evil and do good. They must seek peace and pursue it. For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are attentive to their prayer. But the face of the Lord is against those who do evil. See, we must be compassionate, not contentious. We need to stop the barrage of hate and anger and fear and anxiety that's just running rampant in our world, and be the agents of hope.
spreading hope around. And that means stopping that hate, stopping that contentiousness and anger, whichever side it's on, in its tracks, and responding with compassion and love. Even if we disagree with the rules or disagree with the people who put them in rules and we think they're being ridiculous, or the people who are breaking the rules, that they're doing something that's bad for everyone. Whatever you think, whichever side you're on, let's be compassionate. Let's love each other, just like Jesus taught us to, like Jesus showed us to. Be compassionate, not contentious.